Another episode of Entrepreneurship with Daniel. I'm your host, Daniel Cueva, and I have a special guest today here, Carlo Sebastian. Carlo Sebastian is a producer, artist,
songwriter,
A&R, entrepreneur.
business, yeah, everything, man. It's like this business is like too hard to just be one dimensional, if that makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
So, any book you read, anything you do, anything you add to your resume is something else that could lead you in the room or help you get in the room. Um, yeah, man. It's important to have different assets to offer people. If that makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm glad to have you here. Glad you made it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
How did you get started in all this?
Okay. No, it's funny, man, because there's the one that there's the deep meaning to something, right? Like, why did you do it internally, you know? And then there's the other of like the surface level, why did you do it? So which one do you want?
Everyone that knows me knows that I go for the deepest
like the deep
levels. So whatever you're comfortable sharing, but
yeah, for sure.
You know?
I'm totally transparent, bro. People's hurt and pain and adversity leads for other people's motivation, because that's what helps me, man. So for sure. So I grew up in a broken household, right? Like, my dad wasn't really there. My mom pretty much raised me, and I did music growing up. You know, it was something that I from really pre-K to 8th grade, I was like in the school where public speaking was really important. Theater, we always had music classes weekly. So that kind of performance aspect was always implemented. Around middle school, when I started doing sports, um, I played really masculine sports, you know, football and the track, and it was just sports where music wasn't very. If you did music, man, like, to blatantly say it, maybe culturally might not be right. I'm sorry if I have any offended anyone, but back then it was like, oh, dog, you're gay, bro. You know, you're gay. And the reality was, it's just like, I was a very sensitive guy because I grew up with women my whole life, and that's just how I knew how to express myself. Came high school, I got like my guitar, like my sophomore year or something. I just started writing, bro. No one really knew I was writing, and at that time, I didn't have like the friends or anything, bro. Like, the only thing that spoke to me was my fucking guitar, bro. So, like, the only sound I would hear some days in my house was my guitar. So it spoke to me on like such a deep level. Even if I just plucked a string, it would just, that was the only thing that would speak to me, and the music on the radio. Um, and so, uh, when high school was tough, man, for me, but towards the end, I was really screaming for attention. You know, that's the reality of the situation. I didn't really have someone there to hear me or anything out. You know, so I was screaming for that attention. I was screaming for that thing that I wanted someone to see me, really, and music was a thing that was able to get me seen by people. And I did like this talent show my senior year of high school, and it was just like some song that I wrote with like 3 chords, really simple, and it like touched people. It like really did touch people, and I never felt that feeling in my life of like, after I got the applause and stuff. It wasn't a feeling of excitement, nor was it a feeling of being depressed. It was just a feeling of feeling leveled, like just feeling good, you know. And at that moment, I was like, I want to do this. Like, I really want to do this and pursue this. And it gave me, yeah, man, it gave me that clarity of like, it's gonna be okay, in a weird way. Um, but I think at the beginning, to be completely honest, it was attention, man. And later on, I'll tell you, but it changed from attention. It came changed for me realizing that I wanted attention, and that's not what I want now. You know, now it's just the love of the process, the love of creating, So that's why I don't put myself in the forefront of the stage anymore. Now I'm in the songwriting rooms and producing tracks and starting tracks, and I just love the process now. That's just what I love. Yeah.
I see. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. I mean, thank you, because that was so. That's. I feel like most people are going for attention, right or wrong. It's to each their own. But when do you think that changed for you? Was that a thing of?
No, I'm laughing, man. It was most definitely a psychedelic experience.
Ah.
Oh yeah, man. I Jeez. All right, everyone's gonna know now. Sorry, mom. All right. So, while I'm drinking my shroom coffee, yeah, man. So, I've been involved in two psychedelic experiences in my life, and both started recreational, but both ended up being a life-changing event for me. So a couple years ago, I went to an Millennium concert. My friend was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." And I've been, bro, through high school, I didn't even drink a Coke. Like I didn't not even drink a Coca-Cola. So I was very disciplined in my sports and stuff. And to this day, I still am. I think drugs are something that can mess up people's life. Like I'm very assertive about it. But yeah, man. I was open to it. Just because of the community that I'm in, and all the podcasts I listen to with people in Silicon Valley, and that are microdosing on shrooms and stuff. And I just was really interested how like really intelligent and forward thinking people are kind of in the forefront of this push to do that, right? So I did it, man. I was at this concert, and I was we had pretty good seats, and I looked at the guy, or Lenny, whatever the artist, on stage, and everything just looked so small to me. And I was just like, okay, man, like this. I'm at the Staples Center, but why did it just feel small? And I'm like, bro, is that really what you want, just to be on stage, just to like see people, like just to have people like clap at you and stuff? That's really what you want? You want people just to clap at you? And I realized there that I was like, this whole time I was looking for the attention of my father. I was looking for the clap that I never really got in my life, and I hated that. I hated that I needed other people's validation to approve my life, right? And let's be straight up here. If I haven't done the personal work before this psychedelic experience, then I wouldn't have had this experience how I had it, right? So I figured out there and then that I wasn't in love with the performance. I was in love with the process of making music and how it made me feel and how it makes me whole. And that's exactly where I found out that I truly love music for what it is, of the creational aspect of it, and not of the validational aspect of it. And for many musicians that even are known and respected and people admire so much, they still haven't realized that they're looking for that validation. I think Bono said it one time, along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, that he needs 10,000 people to clap at him every night or something like that, or there's some sort of sadness or something along the lines of that. Sorry, Bono, if you ever hear this, but because I butchered your words, but along the lines, and I really didn't like that, and after that realization and stuff, fast forward so many years, like now I'm getting asked to be part of this group and do the artist thing and come around full circle, and now I'm getting pushed back to be on stage. But now I'm just doing it because I like it, bro. Not because I don't need anybody's clap. I don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That validation. Did you... So, first, you had the insights.
Mm.
And then, between that insight at the concert, and realizing that it was the validation that you were looking specifically for your father, was that instant, or was that something that then you kind of dove deeper into it to try to see why
It was that
Yeah.
whole process. Like
that whole
it happened that night.
So it was like
I
everything
was
small, concert, everything small, insights. My father.
I was not the music was driving the emotional impact because just being a musician, I feel that if you're really into music, you hear music differently. You're seeing it, you're feeling it. It's emotionally hitting your stomach, your chest. Whatever someone wants to say, your chakras or whatever it might be into your life. But it really hits you in different areas, right? Just like a sound bath might emotionally bring up things for you, it's the same way music affects me, just in general, whether it be a pop song, whether it be whatever it be. But every like every bass line, every lead that I heard in that concert was somehow influencing parts of my emotion to dig deeper and deeper into figuring out why that was. And at a point, I did kind of have like a tear and a sense of just peace because I realized that my calling was just to do music, not to not to not to do music. I am music. My being is music, but my calling is just to be in the process of it, to just make it, man. I don't have to be on stage. And I think that's people are so. I'm gonna say a bad word when I say this because I think that's the emotional impact you have to have on someone. People are so fucking um like thirsty to be a star when they forget they can be a moon. Most people in the industry don't know who Diane Warren is, Max Martin, Rob Light is. You know, Max Martin and Diane are like some of the biggest writers, bro. Max Martin doesn't have an Instagram. You know, Rob Light, manages Paul McCartney. He's the head of CAA talent. Like when you walk in a room, everybody might see that rapper that's known, right? But just don't forget that dude in the suit, like a table down, might be the executive who owns that guy. You know, and the thing is, that executive might be powerful than that rapper, but there might be some cardiologist or some doctor next to him that saved hundreds of people's lives. So like there shouldn't be the ego attached to what you do in this career. It's just what we do, man. It's just making music,
Mhm.
and it's special to us. It's really special to us the most to other people, right? But the romanticism that people have towards it is just, I feel, a very naive and like childish aspect to think of it because it's just music and it's special to us on a deeper level. And yes, it influences people, but there's no need to have an ego with it. And going back to what I'm going to my ADD and my songwriter mind, bro. But it happened all in one night, and in that whole thing that I just spilled out right now was kind of like what I felt. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Man. So when there is a singer up front, you know, is it possible that they're just love the singing aspect of it without the ego attached? Or do you think 100% of the people that are on stage are constantly looking for that validation?
Validation. It's a good question, man. I think great people that, once again, I'm gonna give like a deeper answer to this, right? Great people, just because you're famous and have money doesn't mean you're, and I shouldn't judge anyone, but doesn't mean you're successful,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, I can be, touring, be making this much money this year and this and that, but I'm a shitty brother. I'm a shitty uncle. I treat my wife horribly. I mistreat women. I slap them. I'm a dick. Honestly, bro, like, why don't you come into a fucking jujitsu room? I'll choke you the fuck out and show you who's a man.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't shit to come in someone else's field, right? So I think understanding when you're on stage, and I go back again, a great person is has such a strong objective when performing their songs that they're trying to get to their emotional they're trying to get their emotional standpoint across the audience. And I feel those are great people, you know. And there's tons of successful people that are not great. They just worked hard and they were good enough and are successful and they knew the right people and played the right cards. So going back to your original answer,
No,
yes, totally. You know, there is people who do it for the non-validational aspect, and I think in the end of the day, I might even just in the end of the day, I think we all want some validation, you know, because we all want love at the end of the day. If I'm not mistaken. So I'm trying to find this answer right now while I'm speaking in my mind.
that's a tough question.
You know, it is because love is validation, you know, and validation is a form of love in a way. So we all want love, but I think if you truly do it, I think you're sometimes as a performer, as an artist, you have to be so clear about your objective and what you're performing, and the people who do the work are so focused on that rather than the validation of the audience.
I see.
I feel so. I feel.
Yeah, it's nice, man. It's nice.
That's my opinion.
Right. Yeah. Everything comes down to our own experiences and our own battles against life, and that's how we're able to dictate the things that happen and give it a meaning based on who we are and everything. But I like what you said. I was actually just watching a movie. It's called Time. I think it's called on Amazon Prime, and it talks about this. It's a whole story. But basically, at the end, the guy had 6 kids with his wife, and the wife fought through the entire thing and documented everything. And after like 30 years, he came out and went back to his family, and he said, life's only valid expression.
Can you say that one more time?
Love, like life's only valid expression.
Life's only valid expression.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it really comes down to, it all really comes down to that. You know, I think being a successful person really means a lot of things. I'd never put up one bucket as to to successful people. Because you're right, you could be so many different things, but if you don't have a family, like the family connection or the relationships or the health or the finances or, you know, like the mental part, the spiritual part, I think it all comes into having like a nice harmony between all.
Yin and yang, right?
For sure. So, yeah, man, I think that's interesting about what you said though about the artist and really coming from a place of emotional depth and wanting to really
that objective express. Man, the
Mm.
objective is so important. Whether you're an actor, whether you're a songwriter, whether you're a producer, you know, finding that core root of why you're doing something and going after that objective is extremely important. Extremely. Yeah.
That's all. And it seems like you found some success going through that, following that, because you're working with some Grammy artists.
Yeah, man.
What's that? What was that like? Or like, what can you share with like what that means? What it was, obviously Grammys, and like, what was that switch like when you got the opportunity
to do that? Yeah, for sure, man. So I think a lot of people that I admire are probably people that most people don't know. So, you know, I do admire a man named Alan Rich, you know, who's written for Whitney Houston, Dolly Parton, dude, the list goes on and on and on, you know, Shaka, like Motown, Smokey Robinson, this dude's epic, Jackie's Boy, you know, Jackie's Boy is one of my mentors, and I work for him for a Big Circle Music Group. Shout out to Big Circle Music Group. Artist development. That's another thing I do. I do like whether it be the song promotion, whether I have been being able to be in a room with him and doing music with him one time. everything, 360. Uh, Paulina Aguirre, multi-Latin winning songwriter. Um, Michael Blue at Revolver Recordings. He did Kobe Calais, Avril Lavigne, Foo for Fighting. Um, so there's a handful of people, bro. Like I can continue the list, and it's not like I have a top 40 or anything, but for me as an individual who's in music and admires people who makes music rather than the people who perform it, I've kind of like achieved what I wanted in music, and I only want to do more. Just because I achieved what I wanted to work with the great creators in music, um, doesn't mean like I plateau. And just because I'm fulfilled with it doesn't mean I'm content. But
Right.
because I still want to work with like Hans Zimmerman or like I would love to work with people like that are just like Trent Reznor and Rick Rubin, people that are just known on that aspect. Obviously Dre and like these people, but what does it mean to me? You said, right? Like,
Yeah. What's it?
my
What was
ADD, bro, it's like squirrel, and then it's the songwriting
Hey
mind.
man, yeah. No, it's
What does it mean to me? Um, Man, it just sometimes I just have to sit down and center myself and tell that to myself. Like, I have to remind myself what I have done because I want to do so much more that I unfortunately I don't think I've really sat down with it and seen what I have done over the past 7 years in this industry, bro. Um, and if I can take a breath, respect, man. Yeah,
respect.
yeah, man. Like if I get a little emotional or anything, man, it's like so much in my life, bro. I remember being like in grade school, and like kids literally like I would speak. I'm such a talkative person. I would speak to kids, and they would just kind of like look at me like a wall, or like look to the side of me and just ignore me. You know. And when I have people who are so respected and successful give me their time of day and talk to me and want to see me succeed, it's a form of respect that I've never gotten in my life, a form of confidence that I've been able to grow, and deep down, like we just mentioned, a form of love. You know, that for me, I think is makes me feel really good, especially right now that I kind of like had to like breathe in and breathe out. Man. But yeah, man. Yeah.
That's a good reminder to breathe in. And now that I have you in an emotional
Yeah.
state, I want to talk to you about something that like means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to you. Is really kind of growing up in this environment, in this ecosystem, being Latin. We're in this game. I'm all about taking responsibility. I'm all about going and taking my own path and really focusing on seeing what that is as it changes. But I'm so curious. I heard, I mean, like, I don't want to make this anything like outside of what it needs to be, but there's a time where I heard somebody said that like Latin people, like, they need to work double in order to get 50% of what everybody else. I mean, normally, like the white American, which I don't want, like I said, I don't want to make it about race, nothing at all. But there are some realities that only somebody like us can really experience and talk about. Is there something in your past, maybe that kind of that you went through something because you had to be yourself?
Yeah, I'm gonna start off in Spanish. Siendo latino es el regalo más grande que me dio Dios
Yeah,
en la industria de la música. So being Latino is the biggest gift that God gave me in the music industry.
My gifts.
Yeah. You know, like just even though I'm Mexican, man, like us all Latinos come together, and I still listen to Willie Chireno and like Celia Cruz from Cuba. I still, you know, Pepe Aguilar, or whether it be like, you know, Vicente Fernandez, and you know, I still listen to everybody, bro. Obviously, Bad Bunny, J Balvin. Um, yeah, man. And it's kind of like a struggle, or that struggle you said pretty much, right? Like that question was more like the struggle, right? Of kind of
If there is,
yeah,
if there is, because
no,
I know that like people
yes,
have expressed a struggle
yeah,
behind it. And I kind of want to either tell them that it's a struggle that's worth talking about, or maybe you've just gotten caught up into what the media or everyone is saying. Ultimately, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think it's my gift. It's I love everything. I love my skin color. I love everything. I love that I can speak English, Spanish. I love that I can connect on the cultural levels. So to me, it's a gift. You know. So I want to, if there's a struggle for you that's been in the past because of it, or any stories that you have.
No, for sure, man, and it's a gift, but it was definitely a struggle, and I wish I would have found out how much of a gift it was before. So growing up, once again, I'm gonna have to give a deeper answer to everything. I feel there's always a surface answer and a deeper answer. Growing up, my mom came from a place where there was, you know, just dirt floor, and she would look at novelas and stuff and see people in like private school clothes, you know, and uniform and stuff. And that was a dream that she never was able to, that she had and she was never able to do. But she said that she would give it to her kids one day. My mom's a fucking angel, man. She's, I have so much respect for her. And so I kind of grew up in the hood, but my mom never allowed me to associate with anybody in the hood. She always made sure for me to send that. She did everything in her possible way to send me to private schools. She just made it happen. I don't know how she did it sometimes, but she made it happen, man. Because she didn't want me to be in the hood, you know? And the truth being is, man, when you're in private schools, the majority of people are white, you know? So before I knew, Spanish was my first language, but before I knew, I spoke English better than I spoke Spanish, you know? And I couldn't relate with kids. There was always something that I just couldn't relate with kids, you know? And when I say I'm Mexican, man, I'm like really Mexican, bro. Like my mom owns a Mexican restaurant, you know, like I would go to Mexico like every summer. And like I am 100% Mexican in my soul. And so I was always too white to be Mexican or too Mexican to be white. I was always too hood to be rich, but too rich to be hood, you know? And it was so hard for me to relate with people. Being Mexican, you're very physical, you're very talkative, you're very touchable, you want to go have, you know, and it's just a different culture in the white community. And it was hard, bro. I couldn't relate with people. It was very hard. I couldn't. But we bring it back to the gift now, right? And it's like, because of me being Latin, I'm able to hear music in such a more dynamic way, bro. Like I was just listening to Willie Chirino this on my way here, bro, from Cuba, man. And like I love Cubans, man. My ex-girlfriend was Cuban, great girl, nothing bad to say about that girl. It just didn't work out, but it's like you're hearing music, bro, and it's so much culture. There's so much movement in there. You hear Celia Cruz, man. Esa negrita que te han tumbado. You know, like that's the first reggaeton music, bro. And like we brought that, and now Spanish music is at the forefront of pop music, bro. J Balvin was just saying that. You don't have to sing a white pop song to be the forefront of music these days. By making Latin music, now these white artists, now all these like American artists, you know, are trying to do Latin music now, bro. We're taking over. You know, hip hop is not as dope if it doesn't have a Latin beat to it or a Latin swing to it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if those snare drums aren't like swinging a little bit, that ain't cool, man. Like it has to have that Latin beat to make stuff cool. And I wish I would understood how much of a gift it was to be Latin when I was younger, bro.
Mm.
And how much, and I wish I would even been more out about it. Like, yeah, man, this is what I listen to. I'm not embarrassed about this because it's the hottest shit that's out right now, bro. No doubt about it. Latin music is the dopest music that's out. Point done.
Oh man, yeah. Thank you for sharing that, man. Yeah, I really. It's nice to hear it from the actual source of the music, right? From you, because everyone that knows me knows I'm a Bad Bunny fan.
Oh,
I
dude.
mean, everything that he's done, like his lyrics, his music, you feel like who heard this guy. You really feel that,
Yeah,
and
man.
when you can really understand the lyrics, um,
The
and then
tonality, man. That tonality. You know, it's like uh, doing A&R work, man. Um, there's so many. You have to look at different things, and Jimmy Iovine said edge, but for me is great. Like I hear great when I look at someone now. It's like, what is their voice? As you're in the meditation community. Your body is connected with your soul. Your soul is connected. What you have with your body connects to your autonomic nervous system, and you're able to control that, and cold therapy and all that stuff. But when you do the work, bro, you come to understand that people's vocal tonality is a representation of their life, you know, and the vocal tonality that artists have, like Bad Bunny, that deep gritty thing, dude. It's like life experience, grit, and so many things, and people hear it, people relate to that. I
mm-hmm,
say for me, it's great that I look for,
great,
no, great.
man. I love it. I love it. Um, so I want to end this with a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, after all the questions, um, if you could have a conversation with yourself pre Carlo at the at that concert,
Mm-hmm.
pre Carlo, where you're looking for validation, or you're kind of starting out, what would you tell him? Picture him right here,
Mm-hmm.
the way that he's dressed, everything. Maybe no facial hair, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe I don't know. What would you tell that guy right now?
Mm. Breathe in, breathe out, close your eyes. Yeah, man. I would say breathe in, breathe out, close your eyes, feel your body.
Oh, that's to go into a meditation.
Yeah, I would set him into a meditation, man. I'd be like, I'd straight up breathe in, breathe out, close your eyes, feel your body, center your feet, and I would send him into a meditation, and I would say concentrate on this sound. I would say like breathe in and breathe out. Be present. Slow down, slow down, man. And I still have to tell myself that to this day, like just slow down, bro, slow down. There's a technique called Alexander technique, and it's like a form of constructive rest and meditation. It's many things, but um, there's a thing you tell yourself. There's like a mantra you tell yourself when you're in it, and you tell yourself, "I've got time. I've got time." Oh, you have to tell yourself like, "I've got time. I've got time." But you have to tell yourself that, and then you're like, "Yeah, I've got time. Why am I rushing? Why am I running so fast right now to go eat? Like, I've got time. So, and I think that's helped me, man. Like being a guy, the older I get, man, I'm seeing now, the more handsomer I get, the more, like the more things of abundance are coming to me the older I get, and so I wish I would have understood that I have time. I have time. I have time. I just gotta keep working hard.
Mm,
Yeah.
I love it. Carlo, thank you so much, man, for sharing, for just being here, for breathing in the
Yeah.
middle of this, and for sharing them, man.
Yeah.
We've got time. We do.
Yeah.
We do. So thank you for coming here and spreading your story and your good vibes with us, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, man.